Hi, Matthew. Um, yeah, I just finished reading this poem a few times, and I want to start with your questions. That you found this poem difficult to write. I tried to use a style that doesn't come natural to me. Does the poem flow well? So my short answer is no, the poem doesn't flow well, but that's not always necessarily a bad thing. Because what I'm feeling with this poem is that there's something trying to rise out of it that has nothing to do with the form, right? So that has nothing to do with like the prompt form. So I feel like the prompt gave you this opportunity to get started and put this on paper. Um, you're walking through, you're on the trail. There's this lovely language, in particular, Arizona foliage, outreaches and spines. Love that. But then something starts to happen even at the bottom of the first stanza, begging them to follow, not lead, right? All of a sudden, um, there's like the these elements of nature that are taking on um, that are taking on human attributes and having emotions and having feelings, forcing us to swerve around, um, communication of the quail, and then when we get here, a Tetherboro court has died. They mourn him. All of a sudden, there's something rising out of this poem that you wrote to the prompt and did very well and followed the directions of the prompt. But that's where I want you to go with this poem, right? So gather that up. The trail does not owe us a continuation or an explanation of our loss. That's part of what's rising up. That's what I hear, what's rising up. We must accept that we have been given or retrace our steps. That seems to me this sort of this very, I don't know, it's almost reminiscent of Walt Whitman, and I mean that as a compliment, like this reminiscence of nature and connecting nature to the human experience, and nature representing the human experience, a walk potentially representing the human experience. um, it does seem to me that some of the stanzas seem random or disconnected, and it does change throughout, but I think that's because there's something else trying to rise here, right? So my suggestion would be, in your next edit, is to go through and sort of circle or print this poem out for yourself, and then like circle those lines that are trying to rise up and feel different than the rest of the poem. Take those lines and transfer them to a new page, and then go ahead and write the poem that's trying to rise out of it, because I think there's something there, right? So abandon the prompt. The prompt has served its purpose, and now use what is golden from this first draft to start a new poem on a separate page. That would be my recommendation, and then just ignore the prompt. It served its purpose. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you so much. I'm excited to see where you go with this, Matthew.